They've spent decades together, raised children, weathered hardships, maybe even built a life they're proud of. But now, in their 70s, something feels off. The warmth is gone. The laughter is quieter. And sometimes they sit in the same room, feeling like strangers. It's not always screaming fights. Sometimes it's cold silence. Other times it's the weight of decades of unspoken disappointment. But here's the truth. Resentment after 70 isn't inevitable. It's a signal, a quiet alarm bell. And if you listen, really listen, you can turn it around. In this video, we'll explore what causes this slow, emotional drift. And more importantly, how to rebuild respect, kindness, and even love, no matter how many years have passed. Section 1. The silent buildup. How years of small hurts create distance. Resentment rarely explodes overnight. More often, it trickles in, quietly, silently, repeatedly. It's the sarcastic comment brushed off with a laugh, the birthday forgotten, the favor never returned, the constant feeling of being unseen or underappreciated. Over the years, these small emotional cuts begin to scar, and by the time a couple reaches 70, there may be decades of built-up frustration hiding behind a calm smile. Take Ruth and George, married 45 years. They rarely fight, but lately they barely talk. George feels nagged. Ruth feels ignored. Neither can point to a single major event, but both quietly admit, "I feel like we've grown apart." That's not uncommon. Why it happens? Emotional labor imbalance, one always planning, the other just going along. Unmet needs that were never clearly expressed. Fear of rocking the boat, so nothing is said until it's too late. What to reflect on? If you're over 70 and feeling disconnected, ask, what small habits have changed over time? Are there past wounds we've never truly talked about? Do I feel seen, appreciated, or emotionally supported? Because awareness is the first step toward healing. Section 2. Unrealistic expectations in later life, when they should know by now, becomes the problem. By the time we reach our 70s, many believe the relationship should be on autopilot. We've been together forever. He should know what I need. She should understand me by now. Why do I still have to explain? But here's the truth. Even after 40 or 50 years together, partners are not mind readers. People evolve. Needs shift. And when we expect silent understanding, we often receive silent disappointment instead. Take this common example. One spouse wants more affection or quality time. The other thinks, "But we're retired together all the time. What more do they want?" No one says it out loud until frustration simmers into resentment. Why this happens? We assume familiarity replaces communication. We hope long-term love means we shouldn't need to ask. We forget that unspoken needs still deserve a voice. Reframe the expectation. Instead of thinking, "They should know by now," ask, "Have I clearly shared what I need lately?" without blaming or shaming? Even the strongest relationships can weaken under quiet miscommunication. Section 3. When health challenges become emotional landmines. As couples age, health problems often sneak in like uninvited guests, slowly, quietly, and then suddenly, they're everywhere. It starts small. One partner struggles with hearing. The other gets frustrated repeating things. Tension builds over doctors, medications, memory lapses. Soon, the home becomes a quiet battlefield, not because of the illness itself, but because of how it's handled. Here's the emotional trap. The healthier partner feels overwhelmed, maybe even resentful. "I didn't sign up to be a caregiver." The struggling partner feels like a burden. "They're tired of me. I hate this." But instead of sharing fears, both retreat, one into silence, the other into irritation. Why this creates resentment? Health issues shift the dynamic from equal partners to patient and nurse. Guilt. Fear and fatigue go unspoken. Daily stress replaces affection. How to break this cycle? Talk about emotions before they explode. I'm scared too. Let's face this together. Divide help fairly. Let others step in if needed. Focus on what's still possible, not just what's lost. Most importantly, remind each other. I'm still your partner, not just your caretaker or your burden. Section 4. Financial fights that never really end. Even after decades together, money remains one of the biggest sources of tension, especially in the later years. Why? Because financial fears change with age. One partner may want to save every penny, terrified of outliving their money. The other says, "We've worked our whole lives. Let's enjoy it while we still can." Sound familiar? Here's what really happens. Old arguments resurface. You've always been bad with money. Control battles begin. One partner starts hiding purchases, the other monitors spending like a hawk. Underlying fear takes over. Fear of not having enough. Fear of being dependent. Fear of losing freedom. And just like that, resentment simmers every time a credit card is swiped or a vacation is proposed. But here's the truth. It's rarely about the money. It's about control, trust, and fear. How to ease the financial tension. Have regular money check-ins, without blame. Talk like teammates, not opponents. Make joint goals, even small ones, so money feels like a shared mission. Acknowledge fear, but don't let it dominate joy. We can be wise with money and still live a little. Resentment fades when couples align on values, not just budgets. Section 5. Resentment over housework and daily tasks. At first, it was just small things. She never loads the dishwasher right. He just leaves his clothes everywhere. She expects me to do everything now that we're retired. He acts like he's entitled to rest while I run the house. Sound familiar? What begins as minor annoyances slowly calcifies into deep-seated bitterness over time, especially after 70 when energy is lower and patience is thinner. Why this happens? Unequal expectations. One partner may feel they've earned rest while the other still juggles chores and caregiving. Old gender roles resurface. Even modern couples may fall into traditional patterns without realizing it. Unspoken tallying. I cooked. I cleaned. I helped the grandkids. What did you do today? It's not about the dishes. It's about feeling seen, supported, and appreciated. Solutions that work. Create a shared daily rhythm where responsibilities are clear and fair. Say thank you, even for small things. Gratitude disarms resentment. Trade expectations for teamwork instead of, "Why didn't you?" Ask, "Can we figure this out together?" One viewer once wrote, "The day we made Sunday our set day, where we cleaned together, shopped together, and then relaxed together, our marriage softened." It's the daily grind, not the big fights, that wears love down. Fixing this isn't about chores, it's about kindness. Section 6. Intimacy and emotional disconnection. After decades together, some older couples find themselves feeling more like roommates than partners. The spark, gone. The touch, rare. The conversations, functional, not emotional. But this doesn't happen overnight. Over time, routines replace romance. Stress, health issues, or unspoken disappointments build walls between the heart and the body. Why this happens? Physical changes with age can affect libido and comfort. Emotional wounds from past arguments remain unhealed. Communication drifts into surface-level checklists. What's for dinner? Did you take your pills? Not deep emotional sharing. And eventually, you stop reaching for each other, not just physically but emotionally. But it's not too late. Here's what helps. Don't chase young intimacy. Build new types of closeness. Gentle touch, meaningful talks, shared laughter. Talk about the hard stuff, your fears, regrets, hopes for this chapter of life. Vulnerability rebuilds connection. Create tiny rituals: morning coffee together, holding hands during a walk, evening gratitude sharing. One woman shared, "We started saying one kind thing to each other before bed. It changed everything in 3 weeks." Intimacy isn't gone. It's just waiting for you to notice each other again. Section 7. Feeling trapped, not treasured. Here's a quiet truth many seniors whisper but rarely say out loud. I feel stuck. I love them, but I don't feel seen anymore. After 40, 50, even 60 years together, some couples shift into autopilot. One cooks, one drives, one manages the finances. But who listens? Who really sees the other as a person, not a function? When your partner stops appreciating you and starts expecting you, you feel like a caregiver, a roommate, a habit, not a loved one. This emotional entrapment often builds slowly. Routines become ruts. Gratitude fades. There's no room to grow or dream anymore. But listen, feeling this way isn't selfish. It's human. We all want to feel valued, not just needed. Chosen, not just tolerated. So what can you do? Start with one powerful question. What's something you miss about us that we can bring back? Reclaim tiny freedoms, a solo walk, a new hobby, a weekend away with friends. And, most importantly, tell each other what you do appreciate, even if it's small. Thanks for making my tea. I liked sitting with you today. You still make me laugh. You're not trapped. You're still together. That means there's still time to shift the story. Section 8. A powerful reframe to rebuild the bond. Here's something many older couples forget. Resentment doesn't always mean the love is gone. Often it means the connection has been buried under years of unspoken needs. But what if you looked at your partner not as the same old person, but as someone who's still evolving, like you? A powerful reframe is this: we've changed, so let's meet each other again. Try asking, what's something you worry about lately that you haven't shared? What did you dream about when you were younger that we never explored? What brings you peace these days? These aren't just questions. They're invitations to rediscover each other as individuals, not just as the couple who raised kids, shared bills, or got through surgeries together. Remember, a stale marriage doesn't need a grand gesture. It needs curiosity. Even a weekly 20-minute conversation without distractions can rebuild emotional safety. And laughter. Don't underestimate laughter. It can melt years of distance in a moment. It's never too late to reconnect. Because after 70, love can still be deepened. It just needs a fresh lens. Aging together isn't always graceful. Sometimes it's filled with tension, silence, or regret. But that doesn't mean it's the end of love. It might just be the beginning of a new chapter. If today's video resonated with you, take one small step. Share this with your partner, or watch it together. Because when couples stop blaming and start listening, resentment turns into understanding. Distance becomes closeness. And the years ahead? They can be your most meaningful ones yet. If you found value in this video, please subscribe. It helps us keep making honest, hopeful content for seniors like you. And in the comments, let us know, what's one thing you've learned about love after 70? Your wisdom might help someone else feel less alone. This is Senior Life Insights, where aging meets honesty and hope.